Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Welcome back to the show where we interview the nation's leading real estate entrepreneurs. It's your host, Schmidt. And if you're joining us for the first, second, third, or 100th time today, you're in for a real treat today. I got Jay York in the house. He's got an extensive background in sales and marketing, both B2B, B2C, digital marketing, and the whole gamut. He's been in the real estate industry as a mortgage loan officer now for the past 5 years and bends over backwards to serve his clients. So we're going to go into it today. But before we do that, just remember, at Investor Fuel, we help real estate investors, service providers, and real estate entrepreneurs 2 to 5x their businesses, which allows them to build the businesses they've always wanted, to allow them to live the lives they've always dreamed of. That being said, Jay, welcome to the show today.
Hey, Stephen, I appreciate you having me, man.
You bet, man. Glad to have you here. Before we kind of get into it, some meat and potatoes of what you do and all that, can you just share a little bit about yourself and how you got here?
Yeah, absolutely, man. So once again, my name is Jay York. I'm a loan officer here in Charlotte, North Carolina with CNG Home Loans. And I've been in the mortgage space for right around 5 years now. And I kind of got here off of circumstance, man. I had a long history in sales and marketing, and things weren't really kind of going in the direction that I wanted them to go. And I had an old manager who at the time went with a company who was really growing in the D2C space in terms of the internet online lender space. And I reached out to him and said, hey, I see you all are growing. Got room for one more? He said, for sure. And that's kind of how I got into the mortgage industry. So I was in the online space for about 3 years, the first 3 years. And then I kind of realized that I wanted to focus more on, relationship building, really being able to educate and help clients out beyond just being transactional like it is with the internet space, and shifted over to retail in 2023. And I've been here ever since.
That's awesome, man. So what's long-term vision look like for you? What do you really want to accomplish in this space?
Yeah, man. So my long-term vision is really just to be able to continue to grow, to be able to scale my operation and help clients ultimately be able to achieve generational wealth through real estate and learn how to really, I guess you want to say, play the real estate game beyond just having a roof over your head, but then also be able to help my business partners is equally, be able to scale their businesses and grow to achieve their dreams.
What does that look like with your business partners? Like, is that real estate agents? Is that investors? What does that look like?
Yeah, so primarily real estate agents right now. And so that is my primary, referral partner. Do work with financial advisors as well, just with some great products we have and kind of helping, to tap into that wealth side for for clients. But for my real estate partners, how I really help them scale is to help them systematize their business, right? Get out of just like the hustle that we kind of naturally fall into in the real estate profession of just hustling around, scrambling like a chicken with the head cut off, and actually implement the systems and strategies that I've gained from being in sales and marketing for so long prior to getting in real estate.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
That I see that a lot of brokerages, even the big brokerages, don't really teach agents on how to actually build and scale a business. So that's what that long-term goal looks like from an agent side, is helping them achieve that.
100%. Now, Jay, there's a billion loan officers in the world these days.
Absolutely.
What separates you? Just like real estate agents, right? Like there's a billion
Right.
real estate agents, right? Failure is very high in that industry. You've obviously lasted 5 years, which is a crazy 5 years if you consider that you got
It's been a
started
roller
in
coaster.
2019, 2020.
It's definitely a roller
So
coaster.
what sets you apart? Why do clients like working with you? And what have you done to kind of navigate the changing times with interest rates kind of getting back up to where they were in the late 90s, early 2000s? What have you kind of done to separate yourself and really establish yourself in the business?
Yeah, man. So my big thing is authenticity, transparency, and education.
Mm,
So when clients, whether it be first-time home buyers, move-up buyers, when they have their consultation with me, what I immediately try to show them from the beginning is that it's not about just trying to get you through a transaction. It's about actually educating you on what's going on within this transaction and educating you about real estate from both just as individual purchase, but also as a tool to build wealth or sustain wealth or whatever that case may be and achieve that goal for them. So that's what a client gets from me that kind of sets me apart. They can easily tell that it's not just a transaction type thing, that it's actually a lender for
mm,
life. And then from the agent side, how I differentiate myself is just like I mentioned earlier. My thing is not just being a lender, like a vendor partner, but a true business partner. So I'm helping my agent and referral partners build systems within their business to actually scale and
mm,
turn, their hustle into a business. And that's just how I bring my value. I differentiate
mm,
myself from like you said, the other billion lenders who are calling because I have this great product. We all have products, right? We all can close fast. We all can do 24-hour pre-approvals. Like all those things are standard. But what I pride myself on are those intrinsic things that other people don't care to do, right? Like, hey, how can we put systems in to help you get 4 or 5 more deals in a year? Or from the
mm,
client side, you know, how can, like in this consultation, I want you to learn what is actually in this loan estimate, right? So if you are shopping lenders, you know what to look for when it comes to buy down points or what the
mm.
closing costs should be, your different loan options. So that's really kind of my stick and my niche and what I've, you know, grown in, especially these last, year and a half, 2 years since I'm on the retail side and really, build upon.
Yeah, 100%. So you mentioned helping your partners and such, putting in those systems that give them 4 or 5 extra deals a year. What does that look
Mhm.
like? Like, how does that manifest itself into reality?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have a framework that I've implemented in my own business, and now I'm teaching with them. So basically, what that framework is that we figure out how to build around the experience they provide, not
Mm,
just the house that they're offering or the listing that they have, right? So we build their business around the experience that they provide for their client. And how I teach it, my 4-part framework is uh, it really comes down to the people. So that's either the agent and their team, whether it be a TC, VA, whatever the case is, the experience they provide, which is obvious, right? The experience they provide for the client, and then their product is how they provide that experience, right? Whether it be their consultations or their like listing agreement, excuse me, not listing agreements, but like the listing pamphlets or whatever educational pieces that they give, and then the profit.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Part of which last part of my framework, the profit part is the actual transaction itself, and then what happens after the transaction and how we grow
Mm,
the business relationship. So putting those four things into place and building everything else around like the experience being the biggest part and how everything else builds into the experience is like the tangible aspect of how I help partners, and
mm,
then in turn that helps clients as well, right? Because that is a repeatable, scalable experience that they can rely on.
for sure. You mentioned in one of the past things you said about how you're educating your clients specifically on like how to build their long-term wealth, things along those
Right.
lines. Like what does that look like?
Yeah, so I mean, it really starts with the initial home buyer consultation that we do, right? So in that initial home buyer consultation, because at this point we know kind of the areas that they want to live in, whether it be in the Charlotte area, surrounding, whatever the case is. So we start talking about the wealth generation aspect of the real estate transaction early in the process. And that starts with
Mm,
using, like MBS Highway, all the standard tools um, appreciation analysis, purchase analysis, things like that, so we can see, hey, it's not just about what you're paying per month to have a roof over your head, but let's look at what that looks like in the next 5, 7 years. So
mm,
we start having that conversation early when they're actually home shopping after they're being pre-approved. After we get them the pre-approval um, letter and they're shopping with their agents, I have them send me the homes that they're looking at, and I run a pre-purchase analysis for them that's more detailed to that home. Once again, showing the anticipated appreciation, the forecasted numbers, so that way they know what the investment looks like in the next 5 to 7 years. And then once they actually close on the home and now they're home owners, they continue to get those equity reports showing this is what this is what you're getting, this is what you have in the home. And now we're talking about how to tap into that, right? Whether it be home equity lines of credit that we're using to buy investment properties, or tapping into that equity to do things around the house to further increase the investment, things like that. So it's really just a continual touch point that starts in the very beginning in terms of shifting that mindset.
mm. Okay. Yeah, 100%. Now, so what are some of your wealth building strategies that you're implementing for yourself?
Yeah, man. So really the biggest thing that I'm implementing for myself is that same thing like I just mentioned, right? Like really just learning how to leverage the equity, how to kind of tap into that in order to kind of grow it, right? So where I'm at, my current home that we own, luckily we're in an area right outside of Charlotte where things are really starting to boom, right? So equity's starting to go up. So the plan there is to be able to tap into that equity to purchase investment properties and leverage some of those things I've learned now that I'm on this side of the table, not just as a
Hmm.
homeowner side, and implement those and really just kind of increase the doors that way. That answers the
Were
question.
you a Were you yeah, absolutely. Were you a homeowner before you got into the mortgage business, or is that something that you got into the mortgage business and then realized like I got to get a house?
So I was a homeowner prior to, right? So me and my wife purchased a home before I got into the mortgage industry, and we ended up selling it. We made a great profit on it. We bought it at a great time. It was like a short sale, so we got it for a really good deal. Put some work into it, got a good profit out of it, and then I bought we bought our second home after I was already in the mortgage industry, right? So, I was able to better navigate it and kind of know more what we're doing in that second time around. And then it was like, man, I really wish we had kept that first one, you know, because like I said, I mean, Charlotte, we bought. we bought that home in 2012, right? So
Mm.
just to kind of put it in perspective, it was a 3 bedroom ranch.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
And I think we bought it for like I said, short sale, but it might have been like 78,000 or something like that.
Mm.
And right now, average purchase price in the city of Charlotte is like 440.
No kidding.
Yeah. So, it's like, hey, yeah, we made a great profit at that time, right? But like if we held on to it, you know, average rent 3 bedroom houses, we're probably looking at $2,200.
Mm.
So yeah. So that's definitely the biggest thing there is just now having more of that education side on it. Um, I definitely, excited to be able to put more of that stuff into practice.
For sure. So what do you see being your long-term strategy? Like what is it to own 50 doors, everybody's paying the mortgages off, 100 doors, you going to flip properties someday? What does that look like for you?
Yeah, man. So that part of it, I'm honestly still mapping out. You know what I mean? Like I'm not like I definitely am a person who puts like goals on paper, but I'm not one of those people that pretend like have everything mapped out. I know the property management side is like really tedious. You know what I mean? At the
Mm.
same time, so in terms of having a lot of doors, I'm not sure. Definitely like fix and flips is something that I want to kind of get into. Probably have a couple doors here and there just for that passive income, but um, yeah, it's really just more kind of being on I guess, the passive investor side is probably where I
Mm.
want to be more than like actively holding a lot of doors, a
Mm.
lot of properties.
Why is that?
Um, I think just because it's a little more hands off, right? Like I have a lot of irons in the fire already. We got a family and I like to golf. I like to do a lot of other things. So, just kind of being able to have more of a passive return on investment that I don't really have to like worry about managing and dealing with, either the headaches of kind of like dealing with a lot of doors or having to hire a lot of people like to manage the properties. It's like, hey, if I can find an investor or an investor group that's like, hey, I can invest the money, you do what you do with it, or like I said, fix and flips, and I can be in and out, and then I can move on to different things. That's kind of
Mm.
more of the lane that I like to be in, as opposed to like being in the weeds every day on something.
Yeah. Why is that? What does that do for you exactly?
I think it just gives me um, what's the word that I'm looking for? It gives me flexibility. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like it gives me more flexibility to kind of be able to shift and adapt as things need to be adapted to, as opposed to having, like you said, just kind of being tied to more things. So, I kind of
Mm.
get in, get out, and now I'm free to kind of move to the next thing,
Yeah, for
if
sure.
that makes
Are
sense.
you planning on are you planning on doing mortgages forever?
Mm, probably not personally. Probably not personally.
Mm.
Like I would definitely, I could see myself being in mortgage for having a long-standing career. But ultimately, my goal is to build a team, and I just kind of become more of the face, the rainmaker, and I have people under me that are actually like writing the loans and doing all those things.
Yeah, 100%. Because it's all about time freedom, right? Like at the end of the
Yeah,
day, I
yeah,
mean,
for sure.
everything you're saying, flexibility, family, hunting golf balls, like all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can only do that when you build massive time freedom, right?
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's definitely the goal, and that's definitely the goal, and that comes back to kind of like I said, the thing that I preach, within my business and what I'm talking about with my great referral partners is building those systems building those
Mm,
things that can really make it scalable. So that way you're
yeah.
not the one that's in the weeds and in the hustle forever, right? Because
Mm,
at the end of the day, I feel like, and I guess this kind of goes with the property management side too, right? Like no matter how great it is, if you do it enough, like you're gonna get burnt out from it at some point, right? No matter how much
mm,
you love it.
yeah.
Uh, most things, not everything, but most things, right? So it's like being able to kind of have that system in place and that team where it's like, hey, if I want to go in and do a loan because I just have the itch to do one, then I can. But if I don't, I know somebody who can, and the buck doesn't stop. Or if I'm wanting to
Mm,
do whatever, like you said with my time, I know that the operation doesn't stop, and I feel like that's how you ultimately build a business, man, and not just be a solopreneur uh, forever. Because even though in our industry we, I guess, work for whoever, like I write loans for CMG, but ultimately it's my individual business, right? So how do you grow that to actually be a business and not just be kind of like the hustle grinder forever?
yeah. 100%. Because if you hustle and grind, eventually you'll get ground out. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, absolutely. The
100
time comes for
100%.
everybody, right?
So what would you tell anybody that's looking to get into that business, or maybe they're first time home buyer, maybe they're looking to get into doing what you do? What advice would you give to them?
Yeah, man. So I guess twofold, right? If we're talking about first time home buyers and
Sure.
they're looking
It's kind of a
at
two-part question.
right, right. Yeah, so if we're talking about first time home buyers and they're looking to get into real estate, my advice for every first time home buyer, especially right now, because of kind of where we are with interest rates and affordability, is, the first home doesn't have to be the dream home, right? Like I
Mm,
preach to, my clients like, hey, let's figure out what we need, what we can do and figure out how to get that. Like let's just get into something, right, that works for you. And then put a plan together on how to build on that, if that makes sense. And then from someone who may be looking to get into this as like a business, in terms of like being a loan officer or real estate agent or whatever the case is, my thing would be to find your lane, find your niche early in the game. So that way you're not just the same thing as everybody else, right? Especially from the,
mm,
the lender side, these agents get probably 20, 30 calls a day from lenders who are, trying to talk to them about the next best product or
mm.
whatever the case is, right? So find what makes you different and like really lay into that and build them.
100%, man. Well, Jay, thanks for being here today, brother. If people want to learn more about you or what you're working on, where should they go for that?
Yeah, man. So on Instagram, you can reach me. My Instagram is J York for short, so that's JAYYORK, the number four short, and then that's my handle on everything. So, or they
All
can email
right.
me JYORK@cmghomeloans.com.
There you go, folks. You heard it here first. Hope you enjoyed today's show, and we'll see you on the next episode. Thanks again for being here, Jay.
No problem. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.